All right, so today we're starting section P.1. There actually is no section P. There's no chapter P. We kind of just created it because, like I told you guys before I started the recording, um, they're they're expecting you to just jump right into quadratics, okay? And that can be a little tough. So we chose 6 sections that we want to review with you guys, and we call them P for prerequisite or preparation, right? Whatever you want. But we chose 6 sections. So one of them is going to be solving equations, okay? And I'm just going to kind of let's do the right side of the problem, so the even problems for you guys, okay? So here we go. So we're going to put example number 1. All we're doing is solving equations, okay? Example number 1, we're going to solve. And we have 14 equals to 6 minus 2n minus 6n. Now, just to give you an idea, last year, the first section that we did in Math 3 was order of operations, okay? That's super easy. Okay, and there were a lot of other really easy sections that we did. Okay, this one was a little bit on the tougher side, so but we're picking these to kind of help us out. So you will notice I tend to use different colors when I do this. Usually if it's in black, that's the original problem, untouched. Then red is the work I do, green is side notes, blue can also be side notes. Okay, so when you see me right now, I'm writing in red, that's the work I would be doing. Now normally when you're trying to solve an equation, you're trying to solve for the variable, right? You can see that there's 2 variables on the same side, so you're going to combine them. If they're on the same side, you put them together. Don't get this like -6n and throw it over there. Don't do that, okay? Combine them if they're on the same side. So I have 14 equal to 6. -2n minus 6n is -8n. Remember, if they're the same sign, you add them and keep the sign. So they're both negative, so add 2 plus 6 is 8. Keep it negative, okay? Now, I want to try to move anything that doesn't have a variable out of the way. So you see that 6 that's next to the -8n? I'm going to move it over. Now, I know some teachers do this. Since it's a +6, they do -6, -6, and they'll do that. I don't like to do that. I think it's a waste of time. I just basically draw an arrow, okay? The arrow basically means you want to switch sides, right? You want to take the 6 from right to left. So when you switch sides, you switch signs, okay? Switch sides, so switch signs. So this is a +6. So when it goes over, it's going to be a -6. 14 minus 6, that's going to give me 8. So again, when you switch sides, you got to switch signs. So this +6 becomes a -6. 14 minus 6 is 8. Okay, it's not too much by Algebra 2 for teachers to expect you guys to be able to do mental math now. Okay, now if you don't like to do mental math and you need a calculator, feel free. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just telling you, a lot of times we expect you guys to do the math mentally now. All right, what I'm going to do next is to get n by itself. So what do I do to both sides? If it says -8 times n, I'm going to divide by -8, right? So I'm going to divide both sides by -8. Okay, and my answer comes out to -1. And there you go. So like I said, last year I would have started us off with order of operations, right? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, right? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, like easy stuff. Now they're like, no, these kids got to get on it, right? Pedal to the metal. So we got to get them there quick. So we're doing 6 practice lessons, okay? And then we're going to start the actual thing. And we try to pick really important lessons that just to kind of get you back into the flow of things. So there you go. There's one of your homework problems, right? Here's another one. Any questions on this one, by the way? And by the way, if you like to put over here in the main problem -6 on the right side, -6 on the left side, if you want to do that, that's okay. I'm not going to mark you wrong. Like, do it however it works for you. I just don't like to waste space. So I draw arrows. It's just, quicker. And like I said, I like the little saying, switch sides, so switch signs, right? Easier. So, but whatever works for you, do it. Okay. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to mark you wrong because your work doesn't match mine. I used to work with a teacher at the first school I used to work at. This is the second one. I've been here forever. Um, but at the first school I used to work at, she used to mark students wrong on their tests if they didn't do the work exactly the way she showed them how to do it. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. The point of math is creativity and thought, critical thinking, right? And they're basically shoving a specific type of work down their throat and they can't think for themselves. I'm going to put a 2 right here again. She's not letting them think for themselves. So we had to talk to that teacher and say, like, hey, you got to let a little bit of innovation happen. Like, they're not robots. They don't all think the same way, right? Like some people to get 5 add 1 and 4. Some will add 2 and 3. Some will add 0 and 5. Some will add 4.5 plus half, right? Some will get 5 by doing 10 minus 5, right? There's many ways to get an answer of 5. Why are you going to force them to just do it one way, right? So creativity is important in math. That's why it can sometimes be difficult, okay? Because sometimes we do expect you to be creative. So, all right. There's another problem from your homework. It says solve 10 plus 2a equal to 5a plus 2 plus 2. In this case, you notice on the right side, we do have two constants that are there. So let's combine those, right? 2 plus 2 is 4. That's not that hard. So let me just rewrite this here. I don't like to do too many steps at once. If you're really good at this stuff and can do a lot of things at once, go for it. I mean, I can do it too, but it doesn't help to teach in one step, right? So it's good for other people that might need it. So, all right. So now we're here. Now I notice I have variables on both sides of the equation. So if you want to make your life easier, move the smaller valued variable. So 2a and 5a, the smaller one, is 2a, right? So I'm going to move this one over. If you move the bigger one, then you end up with negatives all of a sudden. So I like working with positives. I try to avoid negatives. I try to avoid fractions, decimals if I can, to keep things easier, okay? Now, I'm going to switch the positive 2a to the right side. So instead of a positive, when I switch it, it switches signs, right? So instead of a positive 2a, it becomes a negative 2a. So 5a minus 2a is 3a plus 4. Now I'm going to get that positive 4 and I'm going to throw that over to the left side. So when I switch sides, it's going to switch signs. So that positive 4 becomes a minus 4. 10 minus 4, that's 6. And now the last step, get a by itself. Right now it's being multiplied by 3. So to get rid of multiplication, as we did earlier, we divide, right? So we're going to divide both sides by 3. So a is equal to 2. I said, I'm just kind of working the right side of this homework assignment. You guys will work the left side of it. Okay, I'm doing the even problems. Not that either one is harder than the other. I mean, I don't really care. I'll do whatever. I'm not trying to just do the easy problems. I used to have teachers that used to do that. They gave you all the easy ones and you went home and the homework looked nothing like it. You're like, what the heck is this, right? So I used to have teachers like that. They do that a lot in college. They leave the hard work for you. They figure they already did it when they graduated. So yeah, it's annoying, but sometimes it's required. So all right. Again, I told you guys earlier, I do like to do homework problems for you guys as notes. That way it helps that you don't get tons of homework to do when you get home. But in doing so, sometimes it makes my lessons a little bit longer. Now, I can shorten the lessons. That just means I do less for you. Most of the times people are like, no, do as much as you can, right? Do as much as you can. That way I have to do less, right? And that's fine. I'll try my best to do that. But if you guys like start realizing like, man, we took 25 minutes today. That was pretty long. And we did like 8 out of the 15 problems. We did more than half. Okay, I'll deal with it. It wasn't bad, right? But if you're finding yourself saying like, man, that was 25 minutes, we did half, but that was too long, you can let me know, write me a note. I'll do less problems, right? It just means you got to do more work on your own. But I mean, it's not terrible to ask you to do that, right? But again, don't shout that out loud, because then, I don't know, someone might um, get mad at you or something. But you can talk to me. I don't get mad. I take advice and try to apply it. So here we go. Here's another one. In this case, we have a parenthesis, which means you're going to have to distribute, right? So we're going to have to distribute this positive 5 into here and into there first, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Let me rewrite. 4 plus 5 times 4a, that's going to be 20a, minus 5 times 4 would be 20, so minus 20 equals to negative 76. Now you're going to notice on the left side, I have a 4 minus a 20. Okay, 4 minus 20, that's a negative answer, a negative 16 plus 20a equals to negative 76. Okay, I'm going to get that negative 16. I'm going to throw it over to the other side. When I throw the negative 16 to the other side, what's the sign on it? Positive, right? Because if I switch the sides, I got to switch the sign, right? So negative 16 becomes positive 16. So I'm going to get negative 76 plus 16, negative 60. Okay, and again, if you have a calculator, feel free to use it. Like, don't be like, oh, shoot, I don't know how you did that. Like, go ahead and use a calculator, okay? Now I just got to solve for a. It's being multiplied by 20. The opposite of multiplication is division, so that's how we undo it. We're going to divide both sides by 20, okay? So dividing by 20, a is equal to negative 3. We're almost done. We got 2 more to go, and we get half your homework done. I think I mentioned this earlier. If you feel I'm taking too many steps, too bad. That just means it's not for you. If you can do it in 2 steps, great. Do it in 2 steps. Okay? But I got to make sure I take care of the people who need to see a little bit more, right? Who need to kind of be aware, like, oh, that's how he did that, and that's how he did that. Because one of the worst things I can do is look at this, and in my head, I could have told you your answer was negative 3 just by looking at that problem. Because, I mean, I've been doing math for easily over 25 years. I've been teaching it for 25 years. I've been learning it for 12 years on top of that, right? So I got almost 40 years of math in here. So it's a lot easier for me, right? But if I just give you the answer, what's the point, right? So I will try to teach you guys. Again, I'm a visual learner, okay? I needed to see steps when I was being taught. And some of my teachers did that. Some of them didn't. So when they didn't, I had to read the math books. Reading math books is not fun. Even as a math major, I don't like to read math books. They're not that exciting. Okay. So that's why I try to provide you guys with more work instead of less work. Okay. Sorry, in terms of notes. I don't mean in homework, but in terms of notes, I try to give you guys more instead of less. That way, when you guys go home, you know what always ends up happening. You get home, you bring out the homework, and you're like, I forgot how to do everything, right? So instead of that happening, hopefully it doesn't. But I try to provide enough work so that you can hopefully kind of see like, oh, okay, he did this, he did that. You can see they're getting a little bit more, they're getting a little more long in terms of processes, right? But they're not getting more difficult. It's just more distractions, right? A lot of people call these distractors. Like they're trying to keep you from getting an answer by making you do more math, okay? So that's kind of what's happening. You notice the left side is pretty simple, negative 20 minus 2r, no big deal. But the right side, I'm going to have to distribute and eventually combine stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Left side, I'm not touching it. I'm going to leave it alone, okay? At least for now. Negative 20 minus 2r equals to the negative 3r. I'm going to leave it alone. But this negative 3 is going to get distributed. By the way, I did have a student one time tell me, like, Mr. V, I like how you change colors so quickly. What do you recommend I use? I said, hey, you guys have those cool pens that you can switch colors by just flicking the top, right? I used to have those as my notes when I used to do math in high school. I used to have them so I can color stuff in because that's the way my brain likes to see stuff. So if you like to do that instead of carrying 16 different pens or whatever, um, buy one of those pens. I'm pretty sure you can get them from like Amazon for real cheap. I don't know. I'll find out. But those pens are helpful, right? Real quick, green. There you go. Back to red, right? Back to black, whatever. So anyway, let's go ahead and distribute here. Negative 3 times 3 is going to be a negative 9, and negative 3 times a negative 4r is a positive 12r. Okay, now let's combine on the right side. I have a negative 3r plus a 12r. So negative 20 minus 2r equals to negative 3r plus 12r. That's 9r minus 9. Okay, now that I have variables on both sides, I'm going to combine my like terms. Remember, move the smaller of the two. Which one's smaller, the negative 2r or the 9r? The negative 2r, yeah. So we're going to move this one that way. Since it's negative, that means when I move it, it becomes positive. So 9r plus 2r, that's 11r minus 9. This is still negative 20 on the left side. Let's get this negative 9 over to the left-hand side. So I'm gonna move it to the left. I'm gonna switch the side. So I got to switch the sign. So negative 9 becomes positive 9. Negative 20 plus 9 is negative 11 equals to 11r. Last step, divide, then you're done. Again, I know I take a lot of steps. If you don't like it, it's okay. Take as many steps as you need. Okay? I will tell you, I give partial credit. So if there was a problem like this, it might be worth 2 to 3 points. If you just guess an answer and you get it wrong, you miss all 2 or 3 points. But if you start working through it and I see you're doing stuff right, maybe miss the answer, you might get 2 out of the 3, maybe one out of the 2. Like, you'll get some partial. So I tell students, don't be lazy. Try to do work. You might get something right, even though maybe the answer is wrong. Okay? So show your work. It's very important. Right now, before I get to the last problem, I'm going to write it out. But before I get to that, any questions on numbers 1 through 4? Something didn't make any sense? Because right now we're going to do the last one, which is the most complicated one. But these are the first 4 problems. Remember, if for some reason you missed something and you're like, man, he moved forward, I missed it. I'm going to post this online, okay? The notes, exactly as they are here, the video, and the homework. There'll be like a PDF copy of this paper so that in case you lose it, you can either print it out at home or you can just write it out normally. That's fine. If you don't have this and you just want to write it out on a straight sheet of paper, I'm okay with that. Just label it P1 solving equations. That's okay, right? I know not everybody has printers and stuff. So the one thing I was going to tell you about me and this stuff as we're writing out example 5 is this. I make mistakes, just like you guys will make mistake at least once this year. Something's going to happen. You're going to make a mistake on a math problem. I do the same thing sometimes, okay? So I think I told you guys this yesterday, but if I didn't, then I'm going to tell you now. If I make, oops, I just made a mistake, but don't worry, that one will not count. If I make a mistake and you catch my mistake, please raise your hand as soon as possible and tell me. Because the worst thing is, I made a mistake, you saw it, we took 4 minutes doing the problem, and then you're like, wait, 1 plus 1 is 2, I was going to tell you that, right? And then it's like, oh, and then we have to do the whole thing all over again, right? So if you see a mistake, stop me, tell me. I give extra credit for you correcting me. Now, if you try to correct me and you're wrong, don't worry. I'm not going to be like -1, right? Like, no, you made a mistake too. It's okay. But when I make a mistake and you catch it, I'm going to reward you for it because that means you're paying attention, right? You're aware, you're awake, you're looking, right? So I will definitely reward you with extra credit points, okay? So try to catch me. Like I said, I really shouldn't be making mistakes, right? But it happens. Sometimes I add wrong, I subtract wrong. things happen, so it's okay. All right. In this problem, you see two sets of parentheses. Okay, that means I'm going to have to distribute twice. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll distribute the -5 here and the -3 here. Okay, and again, do it however you like. You want to do it mentally, that's fine. I'm just kind of showing the work here. So -5x plus 20. Remember, -5 times -4, positive 20. -3 minus 12x. Okay, so I distributed all the way through. Okay, -5x, positive 20, -3, and a -12x. Okay, the left side, I'm just going to leave it alone right now. On the right side, I can combine two sets of things. Okay, I can combine the 20 and the -3. Okay, and then I can combine the -5x with the -12x. I can put those together. So let's do both in one step. We don't have to take two steps for that. All right, -5x minus 12x. That's -17x. 20 minus 3 is positive 17. There you go. I combine my variables. I combine my constants. All right. Now, I have an x on the right side all by itself. Well, there's a -17 next to it, obviously. But this positive 17 on the right side, I'm going to throw it over to the other side. Okay? So I'm going to get the positive 17, and I'm going to throw it over to the left side. Okay? Now that I did that, it's going to switch signs. So -17 minus 17 is not 0. What is it? Negative, starts with the -34. Yep. Equals -17x. Okay? One last step, division, and we're done with the notes. Okay? So divide both sides by -17. X is equal to, anybody know? 2. Thank you very much. And there you go. These are our notes for today.